Hi, Gerhard Bloom, once again looking at the tyranny and the delusions of the social justice movement. So I would like to look at this present persecution, absolute persecution of Dr. Jordan Peterson by a Canadian court and the Ontario College for Psychology. Yes, Dr. Peterson was appealing the ruling by the College of Psychologies that is trying to muzzle him. Dr. Peterson, in order to retain his licensing under the college, is being compelled to undergo re-education, right? Media awareness, some other such leftist nonsense, right? What was Dr. Peterson's great crime? Well, he spoke out, criticizing Trudeau and his chief of staff. And if anybody justly deserves criticism, it's Trudeau from an abundance of different angles. This guy is awful, an awful president. And I've said this before. Biden doesn't believe a word of this leftist nonsense. Utterly cynical. Trudeau, he's a true believer. I don't know which is worse, but it's awful either way. And Dr. Peterson, correct in objecting to this gender-affirming care. I did a previous video of this, and I discuss this at length in my book. This is not the science. The science, the actual science, is being suppressed, and the medical community and the psychological community are being cowed into conformity. And in Canada, a psychologist who endeavors to explore what might be behind gender dysphoria can lose their license. That's right, it's considered now conversion therapy. Conversion therapy was this therapeutic model, not that I endorse it, trying to ungay somebody, right? Electroshock therapy, kids gay and, nonsense. But this isn't conversion therapy, right? Conversion therapy is taking a boy and telling him he's a girl or a girl who thinks she's a boy, right? That's conversion. So anyway, and it's awful. It's destroying lives. Check out my book. And he speaks out against climate hysteria. So for this, he's allegedly bringing the college into disrepute. Ergo, the court thinks, he should have to undergo re-education. And it's open-ended. Yes, this will not stop until Dr. Peterson starts parroting this leftist nonsense. And of course, he won't. He won't. But this is much more than just about Dr. Peterson. In fact, it's less about Dr. Peterson than you. If you are in a profession that's governed by some regulatory body like the College of Psychologists, you need to be worried. You need to be worried. This is silencing people, cowing them into conformity. Jordan Peterson is confronting Maoist struggle sessions. For those who aren't aware, Maoist struggle sessions, mass rallies, they drag up some innocent person and force them to recount crimes, thought crimes, or alleged plotting against the great leader Mao, and then beat them, often torturing them, killing them. Yeah, this is awful. Leftists want to cow you into conformity, and Dr. Peterson is telling them to F right off. Good for him. He's standing up, and he's taking this fight on exactly as he should. Awful. My support and prayers go towards Dr. Peterson. This can't be easy. These militant fascists for social justice, they need to be stood up to. And too many people are just too vulnerable to be able to say anything. This is coming for you. And you probably are already aware that you say something, some inadvertent remark around a coffee station, and you could lose your job. You speak to somebody else saying, well, I don't know about this transing the kids. And then Bob overhears, he goes to 3 or 4 other employees in the office and said, did you hear what Bob just said? I'm going down to personnel Are you going down to personnel? And the other two people look at this guy, and this guy, oh, of course I am. And then they look at the other two, and oh yeah, so they all march in to HR to launch a complaint because you're transphobic. And the company knows that if it doesn't fire you, these militant leftists will spread the word. There's some social media campaign, and now the company's under fire. So of course they're going to fire you. And then you try to get a job in some other company, and the word spreads, and there's, oh, well, Jesus, Bob, we know you're a good guy, but afraid now is not the time. Nah, there it is, right? Fascism for social justice. Stop it. Those who can stand up have a duty to stand up. And people who think I am wrong or Dr. Peterson's wrong about this gender-affirming care, this is on you now. You've been advised. Willful blindness makes you morally culpable. Morally culpable. Anyways, thank you so much for your time and attention. Do drop a thumbs up if you enjoyed the podcast or the video. And please do check out my book, Deconstructing Social Justice. It's available on Amazon. Not important because I wrote it. I wrote it because the issues could not be more important. Thank you so much now. Bye-bye.